take a break and go drive you. Hey, how you doing, guys? There we go. Sorry about that. I was talking to a little lady there. Right around 2:10 or something. I'm gonna have to take a little break, but I'll leave the live going, and I just have to drive my lovely lady somewhere and then come back. So, and then I'll finish the live when she needs to get picked up. But all right, we got what, 5 days, 4 days, regular season starts. I can't wait. Tried to watch some preseason last night again. Apparently, the one that I missed that I really should have saw was the Florida-Tampa Bay game. Apparently, that was something close to actual hockey. Too bad I didn't. I don't even think I have it, but I would have liked to have seen that. But everything else I watch is just nonsense. Yeah, that had some fights. Yeah, that would have been probably pretty cool to see. But hey, Mercer's in the house. How you doing, everybody? We don't have all that much going on right now. We did have the big news, though. The big news, and I'll put it up here right now so everybody can come in and we'll talk about it. Price not going to play for now. Price not going to play for now. Reeves is injured. Yeah, he's going to be out for a bit. I think the only thing about, like, everybody's kind of down about that, mostly because he's not going to be there for the Washington Capitals game now. Now Goudreau's got to take care of it. Now Goudreau's got to take care of that situation in Washington. Everybody will still be watching it, but Price has decided to go into the NHL help center or whatever it is. Psychological, I imagine. There's no talk about what it is at all, but I know that from what I understand in the off season, there was a bunch of players that went in there too. But they did it anonymously. And then Price's wife, like, is she not the sweetest thing in the world? She's out social media and saying, like, one of the privileges we have is a social media platform. And so we'd like to use this platform to encourage anyone who feels they need help with whatever they're doing to do so. I mean, how cool is that, right? They're, first of all, for Price to be able to have enough within himself to say, it's okay if people know I just need to go get some help with something, whatever it is. And then they use it as a platform for other people to do the same. I think that's pretty cool. But now, how does that affect Montreal Canadiens? Heavy. Like, our continued prediction that Montreal's probably not going to make the playoffs continues. I don't think Allen is going to be able to hold the fort with that defense without Weber and but Dano now out of that lineup. This is just not going to be a strong defensive team as it was last year. And really, let's admit it honestly, Montreal in the regular season was not all that strong, really. It came about in the regular season. So, yeah, that all came about. That all came out in the playoffs. So what are they going to be this year? It's getting tougher and tougher. They're losing more and more people. There's other injuries as well. What was the other one? Pretty significant injuries as well. Yeah, I think they kind of know that too. See, it looks like to me with Montreal, what happened was the what happened was Bergevin realized that Bergevin realized that Weber was not going to be able to play, maybe for one more year. So he went balls out last year. That's why I think that's why he made the moves that he made like that. Now, if you notice, he was actually, you can say whatever you want about Bergevin, but last year they had a crap load of draft picks. He grabbed a whole bunch of second-round picks so they could bolster their prospect pool. This year, I believe as well, they have quite a few, if I remember correctly. At least one first and... Or do they have 2 firsts now with... They have one... Oh, no, they lost their 1 first. Arizona Coyotes. Oh, yeah, they traded for Dvorak, conditional pick. But they still got, so they only have 1 first and 1 second. But last year they had a whole lot of second-round picks. So he bolstered his lineup knowing, I think, that he was going to need to kind of try to win next year and then rebuild afterwards because it was probably going to fall apart on him. So I think he kind of saw this coming, actually. I got to give him credit for that. You thought he was going to be on LTIR, really? Why is that? Yeah, they might as well tank the year. I agree with you. I agree with you. Unless Caulfield and Suzuki just go way off. Hey, how you doing, CL? Welcome. I'm going to go on Facebook for a while, see if anybody comes in. I got a whole bunch of comments on the Calgary Flames trade that I put out there for Tkachuk. By the way, that video now, who was it predicted that it would hit 600? It's 600 views. It's now at 718 views. Our Tkachuk trade one. Woo! Pretty darn good. We got a couple subscribers yesterday too. Yeah, I think Reeves is out for a while. That could actually be career ending if it's a knee. That looked like it could be a knee. Yeah, we're at 718 now. We're going to touch a G for sure. If that's a knee, they could have just wasted a pretty good draft pick because I think he could, at this stage of his career, I think he could be out. It was sort of a slew foot, yeah. And wasn't that PK Subban that did that too? Apparently, PK Subban has looked really slow this year too. That's not good for New Jersey. At least it's his final year is this year, so he can go off and do his social media stuff for a while. I got in the title the Montreal Canadiens, so I'll stick with the Montreal Canadiens for a bit here. But hey, how you doing, Space Dog? Woo! Are you subbed up and all powder up, Space Dog? I think he's pretty much new here. Get a little powder on him there. Spruce you up a little bit, sit you down. We got the fine china out for you, buddy. Have yourself some fancy hot dogs and grab yourself a brew. Peruse around the environment. Thanks for coming in. Are you a Habs fan? Are you talking Habs or what? I do think Kotkaniemi will be good in Carolina. Who am I, PK? I do think Kotkaniemi will do well in Carolina, yeah. I do. I think Montreal kind of messed him up a little bit. I think he actually played a lot better than people give him credit for a 19-year-old. And the position they were putting him in. I don't know if you know this, but if a 19-year-old gets 20 points in the NHL, that is actually really good. It's not third overall pick really good, but it's still really good. And he was never projected to be a third overall pick. Montreal went off the board to grab him at that time. So he's doing fairly well for a guy who would have been on a lower. His projection is still pretty darn good as far as I'm concerned. I like him as a two-way guy. I think he can play all over your lineup. I love his attitude. I think he's got leadership stuff all over him. And then Francouz is in. Yeah, I don't think Subban gets more than $1 million next year, the way it's looking for him. Francouz is injured as well, yes, and again, and that was the thing with Colorado. Like, if Kemper gets injured now, and Kemper had his injury issues, almost like Carolina, but I still would have took the risk on Kemper, but I would have had a better backup than Francouz. That was the thing with me. It's just Francouz isn't good enough. Oh, I think he's going to be over an average NHL player for sure, Mercer. For sure. I love his attitude. I like his personality on the ice. I like the way he brings up the people around him. I think Kotkaniemi is a great player. And I don't know what happened there. People say that it's because he didn't get played in the playoffs. I don't believe that. I think that I don't know. I'm speculating here, but I think it's possible he may have realized that, he was probably taking a lot of flack in Montreal and just didn't want the negativity. Yeah, I heard a lot of negativity on Kotkaniemi. They're not very, they're not very kind to their young players there. If there's any team in the NHL that really needs to bring their young players up slowly, it's the Montreal Canadiens, because I don't know why, because they've got great knowledgeable fans there, but when a young player plays in Montreal, their expectations go through the roof for that guy, especially if he was a high draft pick, and they'll just absolutely crush him. And that's what it seemed like it was doing to me. Now, I don't know if it's specifically for that. I can't see it being because they didn't play him in the playoffs. Who will the Avs use? It's probably Johansson for now, but in the long term, I think they got to find somebody else. Johansson isn't the answer. I don't think he's going to be an NHL goaltender, really. The good thing about them is they got such a strong defense that they can probably get away with just about anything. Montreal, yeah. Montreal, it does feel like to me like it's a one step forward, two steps back organization. They'll do something really good, and then they'll just do something to mess it up, almost like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I personally think that run last year was lightning in the bottle. I don't see it. Lightning in a bottle. I don't see it. And it actually could end up screwing them up. But fortunately for Bergevin, I think he knows it too. I think that's what it was all about. It was just about bringing in guys to be able to surround Weber, because he really thought if they had a chance, it was going to be with Weber, and it was going to be now. Bergevin gets an extension. Bergevin is the weirdest general manager I've ever seen. Bang on the Leafs. Yeah, absolutely. The Leafs, like, it's constant. They'll always do something to mess it up. Always. And to me, the thing they did to mess it up was going to get Tavares and paying him $11 million a year. Not that Tavares didn't deserve that. It's just, for their roster, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. Even the whole thing that keeps it going is that they say that the cap would have went up and they would have had more room if it wasn't for COVID to bring in more players. But I still don't see it. I still say it was way too much money. That was the biggest mistake they made. I was saying it at the time when they made it, and I still say it today, that was the biggest mistake they were making. They take a kid, rush them into the NHL. Yeah, that's true. In Montreal, like if you are a high draft pick, and Montreal rushes them into the NHL, the expectations are through the roof for guys like that. And you hear it in the media a lot. I don't care who you are. Not too many players that won't affect. And I think it affected Kotkaniemi. In the end, he wanted it out. If you look at what happened there, he basically told his agent he wanted out. Now, he might have even told Bergevin he wanted out. It wasn't long after that you were hearing rumors that he was going to be traded to Buffalo. In the Eichel deal, they were looking to trade. No, exactly, Space Hog. You could have just gone with Kadri. Absolutely, dude. I haven't seen you in here before, but I love you already, Space Hog. I love everybody, but you and I like it. I like people who don't agree with me too, but and believe me, there's lots, and I don't. They come in here all the time to tell me about it, but. He was going to be traded to Buffalo. And now, let's think about it. You're Kotkaniemi, okay? You told Bergevin you'd rather, move on if you could for whatever reason. And now you hear that he's going to be going to Buffalo, that he's looking to trade you to Buffalo for Eichel. Are you not going to call up your agent and say, hey, buddy, could you call around and get me out of this situation here? Because I don't want to be going to Buffalo. Who the heck wants to go to Buffalo, right? You're going from Montreal, now you're going to Buffalo. And then his agent calls up, gets this wicked idea, or maybe goes to everybody, and maybe even thinks about it right off the top of his head. Hey, wait a sec, Carolina might have a beef with Montreal for what they did in the whole Aho situation. Let's give them a call. And of course, Waddell and Dundon, they hear it and go, yeah, I'm not really, that was kind of underhanded what they did in that whole situation. Why don't we help out Mr. Kotkaniemi here and get ourselves a pretty darn good player at the same time? And they did it brilliantly. They give him a 1-year deal knowing that you're going to have to give him a qualifying offer at that price. Is he worth that price at this moment? No, probably not. But no, Carolina can even just opt out too at the end of it all. Carolina, if he comes in and he doesn't crush it in Carolina, they can just say we're not going to qualify you, and then make him a free agent and sign him for less. Or even better than that, they can sign him to an extension for less, because you're allowed to do that, and work out the average down a little bit. And that Kotkaniemi doesn't want to go to Montreal anyways. So I thought it was a really good move by Carolina to do what they did. And it was a brilliant, Kotkaniemi should be like giving probably a brand new car to his agent come Christmas time, because that was a freaking brilliant move. Yeah. Yeah, see, it's funny with Bergevin. It's like he does some stuff, like he just caught lightning in a bottle, like the Anderson trade. He brings in Perry. He's almost like a guy like Rutherford, that it would be best for him if he just didn't worry about rebuilding. Like, he seems to know the pieces to come in to make a team good at that moment, right? But the rest of it, then it's just like a bumbling mess. And then after that, the fallout is like, well, crazy. But he's in a difficult situation. I don't know. There's been some moves where you're just like, what? And then there's moves and then it just worked out last year. Well, they won a long time ago, yeah. Habs won quite a while ago, yeah. Yeah, you gotta give them that, and they made the finals. That's simple. You can't take that away no matter what. I can say whatever I want about Bergevin. All those moves that he made, especially getting Perry, I thought that was one of the best. That all came together last year. I just don't see it happening again. I don't really. You think that's taboo for the offer sheet for Aho? I mean, it's legal. You do what you want to do. You think they will again, Space Hog? You know what? I'm going to say no, but I was wrong last year, so I could definitely be wrong this year. I'm going to have to go no on that. I think it was late. I think without Weber, I don't think they have a chance, or Perry now. But I didn't think so last year either. So do you think Allen's going to take him to the playoffs this year in that division now? Like, look at the division they're up against, man. I just, maybe when they were in the Canadian division, but I don't see it now. I don't even think Bergevin sees it now. I think Bergevin even thinks that that they're likely not going to make it this year. If you talk to him without in behind the scenes, I think possibly. So what is it that makes you think that they're going to do it? I don't. Savard has not really played well for 2 years. In fact, in Tampa Bay, even though he won the cup, he didn't really play all that well. I don't think he replaces Weber at all. What do you figure, Space? I'm not putting you down here, dude. I respect your opinion for sure. I talk in the groups all the time for every team, and I love talking about it. And that's how I change my mind a lot of the times. I'll talk to like fans. I'll go into the fan groups and I have an idea of what I think. And then after talking to them for a while, I'm like, you know what? And maybe I'm not seeing something here, and I change my mind. Yeah, well, there's a question mark about the coach, Ducharme, but I mean, you cannot take away from what he did last year. The culture is second to none. Well, maybe at least equal to Boston Bruins. Culture second to none, but the funny thing is, Space, can I call you Space? SD. S-Dog. When they took over, when Ducharme took over, Weber came out and said publicly that there was a problem in the room. And for Weber to come out and say publicly that there was a problem in the room, there must have been quite the problem in the room. You're not a Habs fan? Okay, cool. There's not a problem in the room. So there was a problem in the room. I don't know what it was, but there was some sort of problem in the room that Julian obviously couldn't solve, and Ducharme came in and did something, and everything seemed to go swimmingly after that. I think, I'm just guessing here, I don't know. I think it had something to do with Price. And it's, Price going to get some help with whatever he does, maybe kind of connect the dots a little bit. Then maybe he was going through something serious, and maybe him and Julian had it out or something. I don't know. But they're not saying what's going on. He's going to what is that called? I always forget the actual name of it. I'm going to be reading out by the way, Space Hog, I did a video just recently about Tkachuk getting traded. I'm going to do another one too. One of them was going to Calgary, and I'm getting like a whole lot of people from Calgary doing this. Yeah, player assistance program or whatever. That's what it is. So that could be like anything. That could be anything. if I were to say something that Toronto does that beats themselves, though, it's that if Toronto does that beats themselves the most, though, is that they get impatient. They just, like, if Toronto were just to do basically what Detroit is doing with Stevie Y, they have all the money, they have everything to bring the best people in for development and all that stuff like that. If they were just to rebuild right from grassroots up and do what the Detroit Red Wings are doing right now and bring out an awesome general manager that's known for his building and making a team, maybe somebody progressive like a young guy, maybe even Dubas, I don't know. But because I don't know if Dubas is the problem as much as what he was asked to do was insane. Like, with Toronto, they want you to rebuild but not lose at the same time. And it's, I don't know where it's coming from, but Stevie is a beauty. Absolutely. Stevie's my favorite male human on the planet. He's my favorite male human on the planet. Loves Stevie Y is like a hockey god to me. I would die 1,000 deaths just to be able to speak one word to Stevie Y. I freaking love Stevie Y. Which teams do I think that need to rebuild? Nashville Predators. Nashville Predators. Right off the top. Like, just rebuild and get it over with, dudes. Like, what else are you going to do with that roster? They got one last year with Johansson and Duchesne, and I don't know what, buy them out or whatever. But the Nashville Predators, the Boston Bruins rebuild, they're getting there, aren't they? It's getting to that point where you're starting to get the wheels turning where, what are we going to do here now? Are we going to keep Bergeron until he's like, can barely skate, or are we going to, you can't trade Bergeron, he won't, I'm pretty sure Bergeron, it would absolutely kill him to leave Boston. I don't know. Washington Capitals, but they're not going to do it. Rebuild in LA? No. LA, it's time for the rebuild to be over. They got plenty of prospects now. I believe it's time for that rebuild to be over in LA. Let me take a look here. San Jose Sharks, but how the heck are you going to do it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do that. Columbus Blue Jackets are already in one. Nashville Predators would be like the biggest team that would be a classic rebuild right now, I think. Yeah, watch out for the LA Kings this year, by the way. I love the Rangers this year. Love, love, love. I took the Rangers to be second in the Metro. I think the Rangers are going to crush it this year. But then again, I have a way of getting a little ahead of myself when it comes to young teams. Usually when I say that, it's the next year they actually do it, but we'll see. Yeah, Brisebois is pretty freaking good too. Sweeney, I don't know if he's ever going to get over the 2015 draft. That's the problem. It almost doesn't matter what he does from anymore. It's always the 2015 draft could absolutely make, like, if they would have hit the way they could have on the 2015 draft, they probably wouldn't have the rebuild that they may have to have. But Lamoriello, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like? Could you do? Lamoriello is like like a mafia of the NHL. He's like the Don of the NHL, because could you get any more freaking gangster than go to Toronto, tell them he goes to Toronto from New Jersey, all right? He goes to Toronto, tells them, do not give Tavares that money, and he's absolutely right. Then they take this young punk Dubas, and he goes, okay, I'm going to go to the island where Tavares was and take that team and make it better than your team, and frickin' does it. That is about as gangster as you can get, man. That was freaking awesome. No matter what you say, that might be like the most gangster general manager play ever. It was freaking awesome. Zito is a genius so far, it seems. Absolutely. I love Zito in Florida. I mean, he hasn't made one mistake yet. There's a lot of Fitzgerald in Florida and New Jersey has not made one mistake so far, I don't think. Yeah, I think the Blues are getting stale. I don't know, but it looks like he's got to be out for a while. I think the best thing you can hope for there is a broken ankle. I didn't look at it over and over and over again because I don't like to do that to myself. But I think the best thing you could hope for there is a broken ankle. Yeah. How many cups they would have got? Yeah. I like Kaliev. I don't think I like him as much as you do, Eugene, but we'll see. I respect you because you're a huge LA fan and you obviously know a crap load about hockey too. So I'm going to put you on there. I think you might be homering a bit with him, but I do like him. I could see him being a 25-goal, 50-some guy. But I think you're looking at him as a point-a-game guy, so we'll have to see. I don't know if I see that offense in him. He's from the Sioux. Oh, I got a story of the Sioux. What is it about the Sioux that's Sault Ste. Marie, by the way. It's in Canada, Ontario. I was driving from Alberta to Quebec. And I got to Thunder Bay late, and there was no place for me to stay there. So I ended up driving all night through Marathon and all those places. And I ended up having to stay at Sault Ste. Marie. It was the first time I'd ever been to Sault Ste. Marie. And I'm from Mississauga, Ontario. That place, something about that place makes you feel like you're weighed down by 40 pounds. What is that? It's something about the atmosphere or whatever. I swear to God, it had to be one of the most, maybe it was just the day I was there, it was the most depressing places I'd ever been. And the funny thing about it was that on the way back, I was forced to stay there again. And it was the same way. Am I off there? Is that right or what? I don't see 40 goals. I don't see how you see 40 goals out of that guy. Look at his stats in the AHL last year. What did he get? And he's what? He's 20. He's 20 already, right? Artur Kaliev. He's 20 years old. Last year he got 14 goals in 40 games for the Reign and 31 points. 40-goal guys at 20 years old will usually crush the AHL more than that. Now, there are guys that are late that, you know, come around late, and maybe you're right, but I can't see him getting that. No. I don't, like, I watch Kaliev. I don't see a Lion type shot or a Peterson. Those are 40-goal guys. Peterson, Lion Kyle Connor, you know, Pasternak, you know, like that's elite goal scoring. If you're right, Tajin, I want you to come on here and shame the crap out of us. I hope you shame the crap out of us. And I'll make sure to tell everybody Hajin was the one that called it, for sure. No doubt about it. But I don't see it. Brett Sini got picked up, really? Yeah. I don't see it, dude. Maybe better all-around player, I'll give you that. He probably is better defensively than Lion. I would give you that. But, I mean, you think he's going to be very good defensively and be a 40-goal scorer? I mean, that is incredibly elite player. That is a guy that at 20 years old should be absolutely crushing the AHL. Like, that couldn't even put him there. They'd be like, this isn't even fair that he's here in the AHL, I would say. So, I think he's going to be really good, but I don't think, like, they already got, like, Victor Arvidsson, somebody like that, maybe. See him somewhere like that. But 40 goals... Well, yeah, maybe. He's going to be one of the best players in the league if he can do that. He would be like Kaprizov, I would think. You're looking at like a Kaprizov type guy. Frost is sent down? Oh, no. Oh, no. That is not good. That's not good, CL. Oh, man. I was afraid of that. You gained 20 pounds. You gain 20 pounds. That's going to be pretty difficult to maneuver with an extra 20 pounds on your body. That is not good, dude. That's not what I wanted to hear. Yeah, Brassard is our second line center. That is not good, dude. Not good at all. You gained 35 pounds in the last year? Holy crap, dude. Yeah, put the McDonald's down, sir. Put the McDonald's down. Yeah, I guess so. Let me look down here. That's what I was going to look up. I was just going to look up. So there had to be some stuff come out. "12 players placed on waivers." Louis Domingue. Anybody want a Louis Domingue? Ryan Murphy, Andrew Hammond, Matt Lashoff, and Groshnik. Nobody going to be taken there, I don't think. San Jose Sharks claim Jonah Gadjovich. Was second round pick in 2017. Oh, really? Overall by the Canucks. Huh. Oh, see. Yeah, I can't eat McDonald's. I don't like McDonald's anymore. I used to love it, but not anymore. Colorado should snatch someone up. Probably a goaltender now. They're going to need to find a goaltender, I would think, unless they're going to keep rolling with Johansson. What's the status down there? What time do you got to go? 2:20? I used to be like a Big Mac fiend when I was like young. Now I haven't had it. I can't eat it at all now. Just I don't know, not at all anymore. Status on Reeves is there hasn't been anything come out, but I mean that didn't look pretty. I can't see. The best case scenario is he breaks his ankle. If he's got a broken ankle, then maybe a month. But that looked like a knee. That looked like he like fell back. It looked like a knee or something like that. Yeah, I think that definitely looked like a knee. But I don't see anything on the rumor stuff here about anything coming out about Reeves yet. Yeah, I would imagine he's out for a long time. It could be career ending. It could be career ending for him because he was already losing the step. His analytics were absolutely horrible last year already. So if he loses his skating ability on top of it, it's not going to be pretty. No Reeves versus Wilson, yeah. It's going to have to be Goudreau now. Goudreau could hold himself a little bit. At least it wasn't like Smith. I personally think Smith should have been given a 2-year contract from the Players Association for fighting Wilson last year. Just for that alone, he deserves a contract. Minimum contract. He did get one, isn't he? Is he in Carolina now, Lauren? Like, that was stupid that he had to fight Wilson. Yeah, Tenorti. I think Goudreau would be the guy. You got Laffy and Jack Hughes. Did you pick them like super late or what? I like Jack Hughes on a late pick, like down in the bottom, because I think he could crush it pretty good this year. Who was I talking about? Did you pick? You picked Laffy in the 5th? Oh, I think that might have been a little high, but I mean, I like him a lot, but I would pick him late. I don't think anybody would have picked Lafreniere until later. How is he that short? I thought Hughes was. Is he really that short? I thought he was like. I didn't think he was that short. But then I could check it up on Cap Friendly, and they don't often tell you the whole story there either. So. Let me look it up here. It says 5'11". He's not very. It's his weight that's the problem. That's probably generous. I would say about 5'10", 170. Oh, Bear. That'll be interesting if Bear puts up the points. I would have taken. Was D'Angelo already gone? By the way, they have D'Angelo on the top line right now on Cap Friendly playing with Slavin. I think that's awesome. That's exactly what they should do. Should play D'Angelo with Slavin. Oh, where did you take Podkolzin? Oh, D'Angelo was already gone? How big was your draft? How many rounds? How many rounds was your fantasy draft? 12. Okay. So 12 rounds. And you took Podkolzin, I hope, at the last pick. You didn't go crazy and take him before the last pick, did you? So I don't know how many minutes Podkolzin's going to get in Vancouver. They got a pretty solid top 6 he's got to beat out first. It's getting paid a pretty significant amount of money, too. So I'm just going to remind you here that I'm going to have to take about 10 or 15 minutes in about a half an hour. For your... What the heck happened there? Did I just lose the stream? What the heck? Oh, okay. I lost the stream. We still here? Okay, good. I thought I lost the stream. It just kind of went out on me. McCarr, Theodore. Nice. When did you get Theodore? Wow, that is a really solid D. Are you serious? You got McCarr, and when did you get Theodore? What did you have? Nurse, Letang, Pulak. Wow, that's okay. I'd like to see what everybody's fantasy picks were. Hughes in the 10th round. I think that's a little. I got to do some of these fantasies. I got to do some of these fantasies with you guys sometime to see exactly who's available. Larkin in the 16th. I thought you said there was only 12 rounds. Barkov. Okay, are you giving me those in order of when you selected them, or are you just saying Barkov, Marchand? You didn't take Barkov before Marchand, did you? I would take Marchand before Barkov. Point, Landeskog, and Ehlers. Ehlers is a beautiful pickup. I would have had Ehlers in that order. You took Barkov before Marchand? I think but I can't believe you got Marchand in the 2nd round. Are you kidding me? Or did you take them back to back? What spot were you picking in? Marchand's should be a guaranteed 1st rounder, man. Holy crap. Points, that's a good one for the 3rd round. That's not bad. Landeskog, he always gets 60 points. Ehlers in that spot, 1, 2. Ehlers in the 5th round, that's gold. That's freaking gold. Ehlers in the 5th round is gold. No doubt about that. Oh, so you waited for your goaltenders. Anderson and Allmark. The only thing I have with Allmark is that he might get beat out by Swayman. Anderson, if he doesn't get injured, that's a nice pickup for sure. You went back to back? Okay, well that's not bad then. I can't believe Marchand lasted all the way down to the end of your draft. How many rounds was it? Hamilton in the 5th round was a nice pickup. I like that. Buchnevich. So you got Hischier, Teravainen, and Larkin. Larkin was your last pick? Hischier is a little bit of a concern, but like I said, it would be interesting to see what was still on the board there. But Teravainen's nice. Teravainen, that I find in drafts, Teravainen gets left way too long. I love picking up Carolina Hurricanes, guys like that. Yeah, I love picking up Canes players because people forget all about Carolina players all the time. I would have picked up a lot of LA players this year too. Oh, when did you get Lehner? You got Lehner in Lehner would those are nice. Those are your goaltenders could win you the freaking fantasy draft. That is freaking perfect. When did you pick Kemper? What round? No, okay. Oh, those are good. Yeah, people forget about Carolina players. You can pick them up late. You can pick up guys like Teravainen with your last pick. It's crazy. I always do. When I was doing drafts, we didn't call them fantasy, we just called them drafts, but Ellis, Arvidsson. Oh, Ellis as a defense. That was a good pickup. Arvidsson, yep. He could go off in LA, and Beauvillier still got young upside. And Zegras, he's going to get lots of ice time. Yeah, those are nice picks. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read off some of the comments from my Facebook on the trade video that I did for the next little while, and then I got to go drive my wife to the doctor, and then I'll come back and continue talking to you guys. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Hey, Go Cops, how you doing, buddy? Woo! I was just going to start. Okay, so I don't know what this says either. So I sent our video out to Montreal fans and Calgary fans and stuff about the trade for Tkachuk. So I'm going to have some comments. James Yeo Flames says, neither Tkachuk is staying in Canada. Brady will sign the same deal as Matthew did to walk himself to UFA as early as possible. I like Matty's game and what he brings, but as a person, he is selfish and is already 1 foot out the door. Would be smart to deal him this offseason. I think that's likely too. You got Kucherov, so that must have been your first rounder. Fiala. Interesting. I'm going to say, I think... Yeah. Okay, this is what I said. I said, James Yeo said that he thinks that the Chucks are not staying in Canada. They will go to the United States. The whole thing is they're both going to St. Louis. It's no secret, really. It's pretty much out there. They both going to St. Louis. So I said I would trade Brady now. I freaking hate trading him. But in Ottawa's situation, they're probably still not a contender with him in the lineup. And they could send him somewhere where they know they're only going to have him for 4 years, but would be very happy to have him for 4 years. Possibly St. Louis would be able to do it. Possibly St. Louis. But there's other teams as well that would be. I think LA would be happy to have him for 4 years right now. I think they figured that the next 4 years they have a chance to win a cup. So that would be one of them. Maybe like the Pittsburgh Penguins, if they really want to go for it, go for it. I haven't even looked at the Pittsburgh Penguins as a possibility, but a team like that, they could take him for the next 4 years, because if he's not going to sign long-term, you sit until I find a trade. I wouldn't even give him a bridge deal. Screw you. Too bad. You should have told me. Like, I would be so, like, as much as I'm not a Meltzer fan, I would have been angry that that you weren't saying something about this before you got drafted. Like, before we drafted you, while we were doing draft interviews, you could have said, you know what, I really want to play in St. Louis. Probably not, whatever, right? But they want to get drafted as high as they possibly can, so they're not going to tell anybody what they wanted to do. Because I find it very hard to believe that they didn't know that they were going to do this before. Like, they didn't just wake up one day and go, I don't like Vanacek, Mercer, at all. There must have been, like, no goaltenders left when you did that. Hudobin? I don't think... okay. Okay, you didn't care about goaltenders all that much, I see. But I don't like the way the Kachucks went about this. At least Panarin told Chicago right away, I'm going to the Rangers, and that's it. We'll see, Mercer. I don't think Vanacek is that good of a goaltender. I think he's a backup, and that's it. I think he plays, his reflexes are, he seems out of position a lot. He needs a lot of work. Yeah, he would take less money. No, he's not going to get 8.5 on a bridge. I think he'd be happy to take 6.5 on a bridge for 4 years. Maybe 6.5, 675 or something on a bridge for 4 years. From what I've seen from him, I see a guy that doesn't have all that much stamina. He's a backup. He's a backup. We'll see if I'm right. If I'm wrong, we'll see. Because, I mean, with Samson up there, he has a penchant for getting injured. They might have to rely on him quite a bit. So, but I don't really like the way the Kachucks went about it. I don't either. Like, and if I was Calgary, I would have did the same with Matthew. I would have traded him right away. You're not going to sign, like, you're not even going to look at a long-term contract. Forget about it. You're gone. I hate it, but that being said, how much did they talk about this stuff? This is where, when you're talking about the draft now, this is becoming the biggest part of the draft, is figuring out if a player really wants to play for your team or not. And I think that's why you see a lot of players not being picked up by certain teams, and you're like, how the heck did they not pick whoever it is? And it's because they've talked to the agent or have an inkling that they're probably not going to stay there long term. Yeah, I had a 10 or 11 game win streak last season. I think Campbell, just think it's risky. I think Campbell could knock it out of the park and kick, and you're doing awesome. What round did you pick him in, though? Like, it looks like you picked your goaltenders all late round, and you were just focusing on forwards. However, I think this was a good goaltender draft this year. There was a couple few times would I say pick high for goaltenders, but this year maybe I would have, like guys like Darcy Kemper or Vasilevsky's a first rounder for sure. But I don't mind Adam Fox because Adam Fox said it right from the get-go. Adam Fox did not make it unknown to anyone what he wanted to do. Like, I don't put a guy down because his dream, he's fought his whole life to become an NHL player, which takes a lot of discipline and control and work ethic and everything. And you have a dream and you want to play for a certain team, I don't mind that, but tell people when you start. Tell people when you start out so they know what they're expecting. And Fox did that. He told everybody Even Calgary, when they drafted him, he said, I'm going to go to New York. And they drafted him anyways, hoping they could convince him, but yeah, like Svechnikov seems happy in Carolina. There's a good example of a guy who took a little less money. He wants to stay in that environment and all of that, and that's cool. KK, I think he would have wanted to play anywhere but where he looked like he was going to get traded to and where he was. I don't think Carolina was specifically it, but he would have known some people in Carolina there too, right? He would have known some guys from his country. I like Campbell, but yeah, he has never really shown true consistency to be a number one yet in his career. Do I think he can? I do. I think he's capable of doing it for sure. Would I pick him early in the rounds or something like that in a fantasy draft? No. He would be like a last pick if I had a goaltender because most people aren't going to take him. Yeah, I don't think Fox will ever get sick of the Rangers, but I think things are getting dangerous for the Blues. They picked up Saad and Buchnevich, who are younger, hoping that maybe they can do something. But they have an out with both of them that they could trade them for some pretty decent picks. I think it's let's fill her out and see what we can do, knowing that there's a really good chance that they're going to have to rebuild here pretty good because they're getting dangerously close to that type of team that is stuck where they just barely make the playoffs or make the playoffs every single year. And that is the worst place you can be. It's better to be just horrible than in that position, especially in that division. Okay, you got to go, hun? Okay, I got to get going here, guys. I'm going to leave the stream going. So if you're here, you're here when we come back. And when I come back, we'll start again talking about whatever. This was good conversation though. Good times. I'll be back in a bit though. I have to go drive the little lady to the doctor, but I don't want to stop, so I'll be back. Okay, let's cruise. Hey guys, you're still here. Wow. Let's get my coffee freshened up. She had to make an appointment right during the show, right? Like, she goes, "Oh, I didn't know." What do you mean you don't know? I've been doing this forever. Yeah, it's not very far away. It's very close. That's why I did it. So when I get a message back from her again, I'll probably end the stream. Because it doesn't make sense to go all the way there and then start the show back again. Who's still here? Ty Smith got hurt? Oh, no. Yeah, you were. That would have to be late picks. I don't know. It depends on the draft, but there's a lot of goaltenders I would have tried this year. Oh yeah, but I'm not gonna charge Uber to go there. Or like, probably would only have been like $7. Yeah. When it's only like a 7-minute drive, I might as well just go there and come back. Not to mention, she didn't tell me until I just started my stream, so. Everybody wants Brady Tkachuk in Calgary. Everybody likes my deal. Except for logical people who know that it's not likely going to happen. You got yourself a car and license. Yeah, my wife has a difficult time with driving. Yeah, you told me, Anthony Sorelli got hurt? Wow, how long though? Are they like minor injuries or major injuries? Doesn't say anything here about it. Where are you getting this? On Twitter? If they're minor injuries, whatever. But I mean, if Ty Smith and Sorelli are hurt for long term, that could be trouble for both teams. Actually, yeah. And his signs for $900,000 too. I thought he was just going to get league minimum, but he actually got 900 G. That was pretty good. That's not too shabby pulling out 900 G. He's a good 5-on-5 guy. Like a guy that you play 5-on-5, 10 minutes a night. You can play him up on the top of your lineup. He fill in for injuries. Like he's a good guy to have for those sort of things. Sportsnet? Did it say how bad the injuries were or projected to be or whatever? Or I would say so. I mean, Crosby's out for a couple weeks, right? And Malkin is out for a long term. I would say, like, if they make the playoffs this year, Sullivan finally has to get his Coach of the Year award. It would just be absurd if he didn't, I would say. I'm going to go live on Facebook for a while. Day to day. Okay, that's no big deal. Day to day is no big deal. I think Obi being retired will have to be a while yet. He's going for that record. And he could very well get it. I think Obi could very well get that record. Hey, Kevin Brown. Thanks for coming on. Oh, you want to... Tell me if you want to come on and talk for a bit, Kevin Brown, and we will. I got Facebook going, so if you want, just tell me. I'll bring him up on the camera. Oh, you'd like to? All right, we're going to have a guest on for a bit here, maybe. If he wants to come on. Never met him before either, so... It's one of my Facebook friends, if he decides to. If not, that's fine. Max Domi, it declined? Okay. That's cool. You don't have to come on, Kevin. Max Domi out with shoulder injury. Max Domi is got to, I don't know, whatever. Tell me something, man. Like, say you're a guy like Max Domi or... there's got to be some other guys that pop up that just go from place to place. Like, everywhere you go, people don't want you. Like, isn't there a point where you got to look at yourself and go, maybe I am the problem here? Like, wasn't there some advice given when he left Arizona and Montreal? Now he's in Columbus. Wasn't there somebody that said, you got to get your head out of your butt this way. This is how you get your head out of your butt, is by doing this. Galchenyuk, okay, is not an attitude, though. Galchenyuk is just, he has very poor hockey sense. He's got a great attitude. He works his butt off. Everybody likes him in the room, all that kind of stuff like that. He just has very poor hockey sense that he never really... And he's been told that, and apparently has just really tried, but he just can't wrap his head around it. It's just, he's just not a bright hockey player. It's plain and simple. But he's got a great attitude. Domi, it's like all attitude. It's his attitude that is the issue. And you would figure over time, something would click in these guys to say, you know what, I can make millions of dollars if I just shut the hell up and do what the coach tells me to do. I know his father made pretty good money as it was. I know he's probably not hurting for scratch, but instead of playing $1 million a year seasons, you could be making a lot more. Travis Dermott got hurt. That doesn't surprise me. Travis Dermott takes me for a guy that's going to be hurt a lot. But, I mean, this is his third, isn't it? Is it third? Arizona, Montreal, and now Columbus. And he's on... Ty Domi was a goon, yeah. Ty Domi was an idiot, too, as a person. Like, he was on Sportsnet, and he did something to get booted off of there, too. But... if you're super, like Kane, for instance, is a good example. Evander Kane, But Max Domi, you just figure that something would happen where he just pisses everybody off, man. You got to figure that there's a time in his life before it's over, before his career is over, that he looks himself in the mirror or goes and gets help and says, look, I got a problem here. I keep on pissing everybody off. I don't understand why. It's got to be maybe he's like narcissistic or something like that. And which is very tough to tell yourself, I need help when you're narcissistic. So maybe it's something like that, but I would be really interesting to get to know these players, because generally speaking, team players can take a lot. Like they're not in a place where they're very seldom are they going to just not want somebody to be on there. Hey, Doug Masta, how you doing? Doug Masta's on our, very seldom are they going to, Bertuzzi, the thing about Bertuzzi's dad was after he made that mistake, he changed a lot. And I don't know, he still gets pegged like that, and off the ice, he wasn't like that at all, apparently. But the thing with Max Domi is he's like that constantly. Max Domi is like that. Is his problem is in the room. Vladar made it in Calgary. Well, I don't think there was really much other option in Calgary than Vladar, so he was pretty much probably penned in there right from the get-go, I would think. Todd Bertuzzi wasn't like that off the ice, and he made that one really big mistake. But yeah, his son's not. It seems to be okay that way. But Max Domi, I'm at my, I don't know. Somewhere along the line, you think a guy would grow up. Just very immature, it seems. Yeah, and that, apparently the guy didn't get hurt. I didn't see what happened there, but for a guy, Blake Coleman, like for me, for what he did in the preseason, I would give him 2 games. Because, like, what the hell are you doing that in the preseason for, you idiot? Nobody expects it. Like, you doing stupid stuff in the preseason to hurt people is ridiculous. You shouldn't even be hitting people hard, let alone slew footing like that slew foot that happened. If you look at it and he did it on purpose, he should get a lot of games for that, and not preseason games, regular season games. Doing stupid crap like that in preseason is ridiculous because nobody sees it coming. Everybody's just trying to get themselves game ready. They're not trying all that hard. And you're going to go out there and act like an idiot like that is stupid. Matthews killer. Matthews. Brady pisses people off too. They are both like bullheaded kids, man. They both are pretty ratty guys, just like their father was. You just want to slap that smirk right off their face, both of them. And that's what I love about them. You got to have guys like that. You win cups with guys like that. Hey, Doug, how you doing, buddy? We're talking about the Kachucks. That's the big story right now. So, McTavish was playing dirty last night. Oh, McTavish, yeah. Now, with a kid like that, maybe he's trying to get a salary. He's trying to get that, make an NHL team or whatever. Yeah, Doug Masta says he remembers Keith Tkachuk. Keith Tkachuk was probably top 10 best power forwards ever played the game for sure. Yeah, McTavish's son there is in that same sort of vein as the Kachucks. Yeah, Yeah, it was a nice pickup by them. They needed a guy like that too. They had nothing like that in their system at all. Yeah, Colin White's hurt in Ottawa. That hurts a lot for Ottawa. That hurts a lot. Shane Pinto is going to get a lot of minutes. Yeah, that's good for a young guy like that. I don't think it'd be wise for him to make the lineup, but he's trying to make a lineup. It's a little more understandable, but even then, his teammates are going to say, you know what, dude, I know you're trying to make the lineup, but let's not go over the top here. We're not wanting to fight and stuff in preseason and all that. But, yeah, you can harness that back a little bit for a guy like that, and you can kind of forgive him a little bit because, yeah, you're trying to make an NHL salary, man. Like, trying to make the team. You're trying to be, and you're a kid, and that's the way he plays. So he's going to be a little more like that. But a lot of guys play like that, but they don't do it in preseason games, you know. So I'm pretty sure he'll get a talking to because you don't want, as much as you know, like you already know that he's like that. So you're not really proving to anybody that you're like that because everybody knows you are, is what I'm really trying to say there. So, but for a kid, they don't realize that. They want to win, so they want to make the team so much that they'll have a tendency to go a little over the top. Yeah, 900,000. Yeah, well, yeah, Lucas Raymond's probably going to make the squad. I think that has very little to do with what he does in preseason games, but his overall talent is they already knew. They knew his talent when they came. The big thing with him is, was he big enough and was he strong enough? And once, if he was big enough and strong enough, he wouldn't even have to play a preseason game and he already made the team. He's got that kind of talent. So if he built up his strength and he was strong and he was doing well in the bag skates and scrimmages, then and finding chemistry in the scrimmages and stuff like that, he was probably making the team. But a guy like Lucas Raymond in preseason, he scored last year in preseason. He's got a killer shot. So if you're playing a preseason game where they're not checking or anything like that, he's going to score all day long. But you put the same guy last year in regular season, he's not going to score because he's not going to be able to get into those spots. So. He's been compared to Mitch Marner, Lucas Raymond. Feisty dude. Feisty guy. Who, Joe? For the Detroit Red Wings. What do you mean? Just one sec, by the way. I gotta get my coffee. Are you talking about late picks? What rounds? Yeah, Joe Veleno got finally bulked up. I don't know. Marner's pretty aggressive. He doesn't get enough credit for how he gets into the spots. Marner. Raymond may be more pushbackish than Marner, but Marner gets into spots that guys his size just shouldn't be getting into. He goes hard to the net like crazy. That guy, especially for his size, and then his passing ability and everything. Veleno all he needed was the size. He was always going to be a third line centerish type guy. He wasn't building muscle very well, but if he's got his muscle now, for sure he's going to play. And he had to learn the defensive part of the game too. Jonathan Bergen going to the AHL makes sense. He was a second rounder. They'll take it easy with him for sure. They don't need to be in a hurry. They're still not going to be in that spot. On par with Marner. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Doug Mast is a Detroit Red Wings fan. I'm not sure if he's on par, but he's that kind of style. Hajin says that he thinks that he's more aggressive than Marner. And I think that could be true in the sense that he's more pushback. Like, Marner won't back down, but he doesn't really push back. And Raymond may have more of a chip on his shoulder, more of an attitude than Marner does. Is that what you mean, Hajin? Yeah, there is definitely progress. They're going to be a fun team to watch this year. I really want to see what that 6'6" Rasmussen does this year. I really like him. If that guy can be like a 30 to 35 point guy, winger, he could. That's a special type of player to have on your team. Guy that big, that solid in the playoffs to get in front of the net and all of those sort of things like that. Yeah, what round were they drafted in, though? Let me see. Yeah, that Rasmussen guy's a guy. He was picked in the first round too, in what like top 10 in 2017 or something like that. They've been working with him for a while, but why was I bringing up? I want to bring up Carolina. Yeah, Sider's going to have a start the year too. They're pretty excited about him. Where the heck is Carolina? 2017. That's what I thought. It's like top 10. I want to say like 8th or 9th overall or something like that. It was kind of a surprise pick, but I was like, that's really interesting. A 6'6" guy like that can skate. Like, even if he doesn't get a lot of offense for you, it's so huge to have a guy like that on the playoffs. Now I'm looking up Lawrence, the young guys that they were talking about. Zion Nybeck, 2020. What's he, 5'8"? Well, 5 goals, 8 points on the under 20 national. He's so far He's played, okay. Yeah, we'll see. He's just very offensive guy. Oh, shoot. I lost my live stream. I know you guys can see me, but I can't see you for a little bit. Oh, that's not good. Studio. There we go. Anyways, yeah, Nybeck got some serious points in the lower league in Sweden. So they obviously love his skill. Well, I mean, if they're small, it's going to be that they're loving their skill anyways, right? Passion. Oh, Fensor. Dominic Fensor. He's from the United States. 3rd overall. When did they draft him? 2019. Yeah, not looking good for him. He's that small, and he's only putting half a point a game up at Boston U. 5'7". That is odd. That's an odd selection. That's an odd selection. Even, I mean, he was only a point a game player when they drafted him in the USHL. I mean, that's not super great for a 5'7" player. I don't know. Kevin Serling, how you doing, buddy? I never see you on my live stream anymore. I'm doing my live stream right now. Why don't you come over here? Too. But I'll talk. If you want, I'll bring you on camera too. Yeah, Fensor really is confusing. 5'7" guy out of college. He's only he. I don't really understand that pick. And then what? Passion. Passion. Where am I looking up here? Pashin. I guess it would be Pashin. Pashin is a forward. I don't even see Pashin here. Oh, Alexander Pashin. Well, that was a late rounder. Okay, 7th round, I get. He showed some offense in the, yeah, that's not bad. I get that. 5'8", yeah. That's actually not a bad pickup. I would say the reason why Pashin dropped like that is he probably is showing signs that he'll never come up to North America, because those are pretty good numbers, even though he's small, to be a 7th rounder. So yeah, I think the reason why maybe he went that late is when they're having the prospect interviews and stuff like that. he maybe showed signs that he wasn't going to come over to North America. Because those are good numbers to have for a 7th rounder. I don't, even though he's a small defenseman. The thing is the other one you were talking about, Fensor, those are numbers that should be, for a guy like that, they shouldn't be drafting him higher than 5th or 6th round. Yeah, so he wants to develop in the KHL system. Quite often that means he doesn't plan on leaving. So he wants to make money, man. But sometimes it can mean he's leaving. But for a guy that small, I wouldn't want to draft him and have him develop in KHL. No, I'm not going. Don't leave anybody. I'm not going to go until my wife calls me, and then I'll go. Then I'll wait a little bit after that. She's with the doctor now, so I won't be going for a while yet. All right, what else do we got? Anything new coming up here? Let me see the rumor thing here. Let me look up some. There is some movement on the Jack Eichel situation. That's the big one. There has been some movement on Eichel. They're starting to get more information about his neck and all that kind of stuff like that. The teams that have shown interest are the Rangers, Los Angeles, Anaheim, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I could see Kekalainen doing something there for sure. I just don't know what they could offer. They'd have to offer their first next year. I think they would. Kekalainen's a smart dude. He knows that if Eichel's healthy, he would be absolutely enormous in Columbus. Going to a hockey game? Cool. Going to see the North Bay Battalion? Nice. I love their uniforms. I don't think it would cost Tahoe. No, it wouldn't cost Tahoe. It would probably cost a Jarvis, though. Might cost a Teravainen. Teravainen plus. Depends on what they like. Depends on what they're really, really looking for. I know me, I'd be going for Nietzsche's. I'd be going after, if he's perfectly healthy, I want Nietzsche's. If I knew I could sign Trocheck. But Nietzsche's for sure would be my first one. Nietzsche's plus. If I knew they could sign Trocheck, I would consider Trocheck. If I could talk to his agent and he'd be willing to sign. Yeah, well, if he's willing to sign right now, give him like 5 to 5.5 million a year for Trocheck, Nietzsche in a first or something like that, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, you'd have to sign Nietzsche too, but he's a RFA, so you've got a little bit of control there. I don't know. It will get interesting because if LA is involved, it's going to be hard to beat what they could offer. Teravainen, Trocheck, and Nietzsche, I think I'd be happy with that. I would do that. Teravainen, Trocheck, and Nietzsche. Let's put it this way, if that was an offer, I'd be going to LA to say, we got this, dude, so you better have something. I love Teravainen. I think Teravainen is so underrated. I love Nietzsche. They're ready right now. They're pretty young. That kind of a combination could make that rebuild a lot quicker. I would definitely consider that trade. Definitely consider that trade. But it would have to I'd have to I'd have to be able to sign Trocheck first. I mean, Eichel and Aho as a top two would be one of the best top twos in the league for sure. Very interesting. Now LA, if I were to do that, LA's got to come to the bat hard to beat that. They're gonna have to throw around like I said, Kaliev, Turcotte. Maybe even Byfield. I mean, if Carolina were to offer that type of deal, and I could for sure get Trocheck signed up, because maybe he would sign up knowing he's going to play with all his buddies like that. Like that would be. The Sabres asked for Byfield. Well, yeah, and they said no at a time because they don't know anything about really the injury. They weren't offering up too much stuff about the injury, or maybe they didn't have the information. I don't know. But now things may change. Byfield's injured too, so now things may change. LA may consider it if he's fully healthy, even for Byfield, because you got a superstar right now for your team. The thing is, though, you'd have the best top three up the middle in the West for sure. Who's got a better top three than Kopitar, Eichel, and Danault? No, in the league even. That would be the best top three centers in the league. Like, a team like that would destroy Vegas. Once they knew he was 6'4" Seider, yeah. Yeah, but Seider's a big boy and he can skate. Doug Mast is still talking about Seider. That would if Carolina were to offer something like that, it would be pretty interesting what other offers would come in. But I would definitely consider that deal. No doubt about it. You think now, if you were to get a signed Trocheck, Teravainen, and Nichus, I'm going to bring up Buffalo here. That certainly would add a lot to their cap, that's for sure. Carolina. Nichus plays both sides, right? No, right wing or center, okay. Teravainen's also right wing. But he can also play left wing too. And Vinny Trocheck center. So you got. So you would have. You'd take Skinner off that top line, thank God. Actually, you could put them both together. You could just put them out as a line. Trocheck, Nichus, and Teravainen as one line. Now Middlestat becomes your second line center. Skinner as your second line left winger. And Olofsson. And you still got Cousins. That you're all of a sudden you're not looking like that. You're not looking like that terrible of a team. Yeah, we already thought about that. I don't know if Ottawa would give us for Brady Tkachuk in a first. I don't know if Ottawa would do that because that first is going to be too high. You might be giving up you would have to be a lottery protected first. And Jack Eichel's not going to be ready to play for a while, so. I thought about that though. Maybe Brady Tkachuk and another player. Yeah, I like him better on the wing. Unfortunately, you're going to have to give Skinner a chance, I think, to become a number one, your second line winger again. But if he fails, then yeah, Cousins would have to move up there for sure. I think Ottawa would really not want to give up Josh Norris and that. Well, maybe how about Pinto? Pinto and Tkachuk for Eichel, for a healthy Eichel. I love Brady Tkachuk, but the question, of course, then is the question. Yeah, Skinner does suck. The question, what was I going to say? The question there is, though, again, Buffalo ain't doing that deal unless he's going to sign an 8-year deal. Unless Tkachuk's going to sign for 8 years, they're not doing that deal. If he's just going to bolt to St. Louis, I don't think they do that deal. And that's the problem with the whole Tkachuk situation, is the common belief is that's exactly what's going to happen. There's Sabres for baiting. Well, I don't know if they baited. They shouldn't hate Carolina. They shouldn't hate Carolina for that. They should hate their terrible ownership and management. I mean, people were avoiding Skinner for years. Carolina was trying to trade Skinner for like 3 years, rumors were going on. And obviously the reason was he was telling them how much he was going to want to make. So I was just sharing this around a little bit. Well, they did know how bad Skinner was. Skinner had an attitude. I mean, you just look at Skinner's career. Every time he had a freaking contract year, he had a big year. And then the next year he went to crap. I don't think there was ever a player that was more obviously in it for the money than Jeff Skinner over his career. It was very obvious. And then they gave him $9 million because he had one good season, and they gave him $9 million for 8 years because he had one good season where if you look over his career, he always did that. He's got to be the most frustrating player, one of the most frustrating players ever. A guy that has that much talent and is able to play like he does, but he gets some money and he runs. It's crazy. It's one of the worst contracts that was, like, right off the bat, that was a horrible contract. Right off the bat. Like, I don't know. There's not a single person I know that do hockey shows or whatever, or, you know, prognosticators or whatever. Not one person said, "Oh, that's a good contract." Like, that was a terrible contract right off the bat. And it was pretty obvious that the whole time that's what he was saying he wanted. See, I don't think Botterill. I think Botterill will get another chance in the NHL someday. It's just really unfortunate. He's pretty young and naive and just happy to get a general manager's job, and he was going to a really bad situation. And now he'll end up he put a black mark on his record, and it might have a difficult time. He's going to have to be an assistant for a while. People get to know, because I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a good hockey guy, but I think I just get this feeling that ownership has their hands too far into the situation there. I just don't think a smart guy like Botterill thought that signing Skinner to $9 million a year was a good idea. I don't see it. I can't believe it. I think that was ownership saying we're losing everybody. We need to get good now. We're going to lose Eichel. It's just a huge overreaction and desperation to keep Eichel. So they sign him to $9 million a year, and then he just pooches out like everybody thought he would. It's just a bad move. Really bad decision. Nobody else would touch him either. Like, if they would have just let him sit and said, we're not signing you for $9 million a year, nobody else in the league would have. I don't believe anybody else in the league would have gave him that money. He could have went on the open market and nobody would have given him that money. They could have let him go on the open market and said, just tell me what you get, what your offers are, and then we'll work a deal out or something like that. I talked to Flames fans quite a bit. I mean, Hanifin, I thought he was going to be better than he has become, for sure. I thought he was going to be better than he became, for sure. Lindholm, I mean, yeah, it wasn't a bad trade. When you figure, like I said, I don't know what it is about Hamilton's personality and we'll see in New Jersey what happens there, but there appears to be something with his personality that just doesn't click. Nobody's ever came out and said what it is, but on Sirius Radio, there's been a couple people talk about it that know him a little more, and nobody likes to talk crap about people, right? Like, backstabbing and stuff, especially in the media, because you got to talk to all these guys. But the best I heard was that he thinks differently than most people, and they don't tell you what that means. They don't tell you what that means, though. Like, he's a bit autistic. Like, is he literally autistic? I don't know. It's something quirky about his personality. There's some players that like hockey's not their main focus of their whole life, believe it or not, you know. And, you know, so they don't have the competitive fire that a lot of other guys do. They don't get upset as much when they lose. There's definitely been players that almost would rather not make the playoffs so they can go off and do. He sometimes acts like it. So what would that mean? Acts like he's autistic. He's aloof. Yeah. So, like, he says weird things and nobody knows what he's talking about, or like he goes on about things that don't make sense, you know, stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about, Lauren? I really like to get, that was something that if I, to become like a reporter, I don't really want to become a reporter, but an interviewer, because I would just love to be able to get to know some of these guys that go through, that are obviously don't mesh in teams over and over again, like Hamilton, Max Domi, just to see what their personality is like that. Play in Ottawa, did he? Oh, Chris Neil, the old Chris Neil. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he was an Ottawa faithful, that's for sure. He was fun to watch. Good hard-nosed dude. That's actually kind of funny. That's kind of funny. But what I heard is he's sort of arrogant. Like, it's one thing to be kind of corny, but it's another thing to do it, like, to talk to, you know, it depends on your reason why you're doing it. Like, I don't mind the corny, that I wouldn't mind that. But I heard he was sort of arrogant, but I don't know. Like, if he's sort of an arrogant dude and he does like pranks on people, but he's not doing it to laugh with them, he's literally doing it to laugh at them and belittle them, then that would explain it quite a bit, for sure. He was not arrogant. Okay. Not arrogant. Did he hang out with everybody? Like, did he hang out with the team? Like, I've heard all kinds of different things, and so I don't know what they actually are. I've heard that he's sort of a loner. He doesn't hang out with everybody. He likes to go off on his own. And then, you know what I mean? Like, when they do, like, team trips and stuff like that, he doesn't. That's true. He's a loner. That would be more of the reason. If he's a loner and he doesn't hang out with everybody and all that kind of stuff like that, that would be the reason. Because teams don't like loners. They don't like guys that are loners at all. They like guys that are going to hang out and, you know, team building, right? Like, they like guys that act like a family. If you notice, like, with Stevie Y, he was friends with people, but did he, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like Stevie Y, he gets a lot of, he was friends with Spetch and Fogel, okay. So I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. In this case, though, if he would have been able to, if he would have been willing to play for 7.5, it might have been just a money issue, and that's it. I don't know, but In this case, it might have been a money issue and that's it. I don't know. I just find it very odd that he would move around like that. Like I was talking about the Detroit Red Wings again. Well, it depends on the difference in money we're talking about here too. If they were only offering, like, say they were offering $7 million for 8, and he went for 9, I mean, that's $16 million, dude. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I don't know what they were offering. But going back, like Stevie Y he gets a lot of Swedes, which is why I found it odd he didn't take the Swedish goaltender last year until I found out that the kid is like, has attitude issues. And Stevie Y is not going to touch someone with attitude issues. He doesn't care. I don't think Stevie Y, 7 to 7.5, yeah. So 7.5 for 5. Oh, okay. Well then, I mean, you're offering 7.5 for 5. Kind of hard to turn down 9 for 8. I don't think I could. That's a lot of difference in money. That's a big difference in money. But he takes Swedes, a lot of Swedes. And the reason why is the Swedish people are very family-orientated people. So he likes to build a team. Like if he were to have a guy that didn't like to hang out with the team and he was kind of a loner or whatever, he'd trade him away too. For sure. He's totally into building like a family atmosphere in his on his team. So and they draft a lot of Swedes for that reason. Not to mention they're very well educated too, because education is completely free there, and it's very culturally. The Swedes are very well read, and stuff like that. So he likes to get intelligent players. If you notice, he also gets guys out of college a lot. No, you don't see too many players out of Norway anymore. Yeah, it's a good point. You don't see too many Norwegians anymore. Norway's pretty small though, man. There's not too many people live in Norway. What was that one guy who was like they called him the Norwegian Wayne Gretzky? His name is escaping me now. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I hate that. The Norwegian Wayne Gretzky. How come I can't remember his name? That's going to bug me now. I don't even want to look it up because I have to remember. He had a funny name. And he did play a little bit in the NHL, but not much. Knutson, I think is his name. I'm going to check it up. Knutson. No, his last name was Knutson. Espen Knutson. Now I remember. I didn't even find it. I just remembered it. Yeah, Espen Knutson. He played for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He played for Anaheim. He was drafted by Anaheim, and then he played 1 year for Columbus in their I think for their first year. He had 53 points in 66 games. And then the next year he had 42 points in 77 games, and then he fell off and had 9 in 31. In Norway, he had 264 points in 189 games, 140 goals in 189 games. The Swedish Elite League, he was a point-a-game player. Espen Knutson. He does remind me of Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, I like his style and everything, the way he does remind me of Wayne Gretzky. And the funny thing is people in Vancouver don't think that kid's going to rock 100 points in his career. I talked to Vancouver guys, the Vancouver group guys, and they don't think he's going to get 100 points in his career. And I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? Anyways, dude, I think I'm going to finish up here. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to finish up. I got to grab. I have hardly anything to eat today. And I want to get a few things done, so I'm working on another Kachuk trade video, so we'll see how that works out. But see you, Lauren. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.